विश्व में हमने युवाओं की आईटी एनर्जी के माध्यम से अपना एक रुतबा खड़ा किया है और भारत इसके बाद के लिए गर्व कर सकता है। दुनिया में हम आंख में आंख मिला करके बात कर सकते हैं। और ये मेरा साफ, मैं हमेशा कहता आया हूं, आईटी प्लस आईटी इज इक्वल टू आईटी। इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी प्लस इंडियन टैलेंट इज इक्वल टू इंडिया टुमारो।
Thanks a lot for joining in for the first edition of Thanks a lot for joining in for the first edition of Radiology and Imaging Summit. The radiology and imaging is a distinct medical specialty. It's a crucial part of the healthcare domain, and we in ELITS Technomedia Private Limited are happy to organize an event to understand the challenges and opportunities in this segment. I would like to welcome Mr. Karthik Sharma from ELITS Technomedia Private Limited, who's heading the healthcare vertical, to begin the welcome speech.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, Pratibha. Welcome all the dignitaries present in this panel and all the audience who are joining at a very fast speed in this Radiology and Imaging Summit 2020 by Let's Techno Media in association with eHealth and various other partners. And we are very thankful for the Scientific Advisory Committee for being the pillars in uh, creating this conference at such a large scale with such valuable speakers and very knowledge-rich sessions we are going to have see in next 2 days. Thank you so much for that. And I would just tell you that from last 2 decades, ELETS is doing this work of connecting people and promoting innovations in various sectors and majorly in health sector. And our eHealth magazine, we are writing about it, about healthcare innovations from last 16, 17 years. And across Asia, we are one of the most read magazine on healthcare. And we have done hundreds of conferences and events and initiatives across various issues and various innovations and initiatives in healthcare. And today we are honored that with such a wonderful scientific advisory committee and such eminent speakers and partners, we are doing this Radiology and Imaging Summit 2020. And I welcome again all of you there. And with that, I request Dr. Ravi Gupta, who is the founder and CEO of Let's Techno Media, to please welcome everybody in this event. Dr. Ravi Gupta.
Thank you, Pratibha and Karthik. I welcome our eminent speakers of inaugural session in this ILETS Radiological Summit. And one of the most important aspects of ILETS has been eHealth, our eHealth magazine. Magazine was founded in 2005, and our aim is to disseminate innovation in the field of health care to larger sections of the society, and especially bring various healthcare stakeholders together. And today we are holding the first of the summit, which is focusing on radiology and imaging. We have been doing healthcare transformation summits, healthcare innovation summits across the country. We have gone around 20 cities and done these summits. And also we have organized healthcare summits in Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Bangladesh, uh, Sri Lanka, Dubai, Bahrain, and several other places. So, and especially this summit becomes important in this background of the overall health care crisis which the globe is experiencing due to corona, and a lot of impact on the overall healthcare system is being felt. And how in these times the field of radiology and imaging is evolving, and how it is going to evolve over the next few years is the main theme of this 2 day online event. And we are also uh, proud to have this event on the 3D platform on which all our delegates are joining in. And we also have an expo area where latest technological innovations can be actually visited online, and online interaction with the technology innovators can happen. So I will request my colleague Karthik to welcome also all our sponsors, so that our audience is aware that who are all our industry partners in this event. And then we can start with the inaugural speeches. Karthik, over to you.
Thank you. So I just introduce you to our partners in this event: BPL Medical Technologies, Fujifilm, Algeria, Carestream, Newsoft, ECFA. These are our gold partners, and Icons, which is our associate partner. And again, I would say that we are very thankful to our scientific advisory committee for pulling up this event in such a nice way. And they are present in inaugural session, and we will listen to them, their views, their ideas, their visionary thoughts in this inaugural session. And again, thank you to all of you. And over to you, Pratibha, please.
Yeah. We would start the inaugural session with the opening remarks of our Scientific Advisory Committee board members. I would like to welcome Dr. Ash Mahajan, the MD and founder and Chief Radiologist of Mahajan Imaging. Dr. Mahajan, your opening remarks, please.
Karthik,
Sir, your
Dr.
mic is
Ravi,
muted.
I've unmuted it. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good morning. Pratibha, thank you very much. Karthik, Dr. Ravi, it's an honor for me to be the opening batsman of this inaugural session. And when I was contacted by the LH team, it was really heartening that one professional organization is looking at healthcare and more importantly at radiology and imaging to kickstart the whole thing. And the 2-day virtual summit, whose theme is digital age adopting the new normal or adapting to the new normal. I think it's very aptly worded, and we do have a galaxy of speakers who will be participating, including Dr. Deepak Patkar, my dear friend, who's the president of the Indian Radiological and Imaging Association, Dr. Hemant Patel, the immediate past president, Dr. Kushal Seet Sodhi, who's a professor at PGI Chandigarh, and a galaxy of stars of the radiology and imaging firmament who will be participating in these 2 days of deliberations. We do know that over the last 2.5 decades, radiology has been the one field of medicine which has outgalloped all the other fields. And today, if there was no imaging, there would be no healthcare, because where diagnosis starts is where radiology is. And without a diagnosis, there is no treatment. So I congratulate the organizing committee in developing these key themes: future prospects of artificial intelligence in radiology, emerging trends in medical imaging, teleradiology and its way forward, diagnostic imaging solutions, and the impact of COVID 19. COVID 19 has really changed the way we practice healthcare and, more importantly, changed the way we practice radiology. And this will be discussed in detail, and how radiology, apart from molecular pathology, has helped in achieving such great treatment outcomes that progressively over the last 8 months, 10 months that we've had the pandemic, the fatality rates have been reducing dramatically, and the outcomes have been excellent. Then we have, transcending from volume to value based approach. I wish that were possible, but in a country like ours, where affordability and paying capacity is very limited, we have to be the cheapest providers of healthcare in the world, which we are. But how to even be able to provide quality in this need for pushing in quantity? Then the do's and don'ts of imaging in COVID 19 patients, radiology education, skilling, facts which are very, very important, and the role of imaging in precision medicine. Precision medicine is the buzzword, as is genomics, as is artificial intelligence. And I congratulate all of you in ELETS for having chosen the right topics, which will be of interest not only to the medical community and the imaging fraternity, but also to people at large, community at large, who can learn more about the way radiology and imaging is practiced today and where we hope to be in the future. So, all the very best in this unique and first endeavor. And I'm sure this will be a highly successful conference. Thank you for having me on board. Over to you,
Thanks a lot.
Thank,
Pratibha.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dr. Arch Mahajan. Just because of the scientific advisory committee board members' guidance, we were able to come out with such nice panel discussion topics. Thanks to all of you all. Quickly, I just wanted to Dr. Hemant Patel, National Past President of IRIA, Gujarat Imaging PG Institute of Radiology and Imaging, Samved Hospital, to give his opening remarks, please.
Very good morning to all dear friends, delegates, esteemed dignitaries on the dais, my dear friend and President of IRIA, Dr. Deepak Patkar sir, our past President of IRIA, Dr. Harsh Mahajan, dear friend Kusaljit Sodi, who is contributing a lot in our Indian College of Radiology, Raju, Dr. Ravi, and all friends from ILETS. Friends, it's immense pleasure to be part of this great event. It's a radiology and imaging summit spread for 2 days on a virtual platform. We are sure that this will be of a great benefit to all the top-notch radiologists, hospital, all the policymakers, the people who are involved with the AI, who are involved with the teleradiology, and we all are looking forward for the what's new things coming up in the era of the COVID and new normal, and how digitally we can cope up with the new challenges. So I wish my best for this upcoming radiology summit. Thank you so very much.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Hemant. Dr. Kushaljit Singh Sodhi, Vice Chairman, IRIA, ICRI, Professor, Radio Diagnosis, PGMR, Chandigarh, your opening remarks, sir. So you're on mute.
All right, is that all right?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ravi Gupta, Karthik, and Pratibha for this honor. This is a very exciting, great initiative by ILETS. So this innovative radiology imaging summit marks a new beginning and shall fill in on a very important information gap which has been lacking in this area for some time. And this was much desired for a long time now. This 2 day summit includes the future prospects of artificial intelligence in radiology, teleradiology, radiology education itself, quality and safety management in radiology, PCPNT Act, and of course, COVID-19. We have some of the leading names from the industry and radiology community, and both sides shall be presenting their perspectives on this. This is a wonderful initiative, and congratulations to the ILETS team and Dr. Ravi Gupta. I welcome and invite you all to this 2 day event, and I'm sure this is just the beginning of a great digital revolution or in this initiative. And this shall go a long way in expanding the digital footprint in the field of radiology. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Sodhi. Before I'm going to Dr. Deepak Patkar for I'm waiting for his keynote address as well. So before that, we will launch our magazine. I would like to ask Dr. Ravi Gupta to take over, please, sir, if you can.
Sure. May I request our team to have the magazine, e-health magazine special issue presented here virtually, which will be launched here. So this is our e-health magazine special issue. We are going to put it online, and we are talking about the role of digital in the radiology and imaging ecosystem. So we have also have the various articles and interviews by some of the leading health care practitioners and experts here. And after this event is over, we will be summarizing all each of the speeches by our experts in this summit, and bringing our next issue, which will focus on the inputs given by experts of this event. So we will be sending you a link of this special issue, which you can read it online on your computers. Thank you so much, all the committee, for helping in this launch, virtual launch of this magazine. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Ravi Gupta. We would quickly go to Dr. Deepak Patkar, our President, IRIA, Indian Radiological and Imaging Association, current President and Director, Medical Services and Head, Department of Imaging, Nanavati Super Specialty Hospital. Dr. Patkar, can you please start with your keynote address? Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Pratibha, for kind introduction. Dr. Ravi, Dr. Karthik, my friends in radiology, Dr. Hemant Patel, immediate past president of IRIA, and my very, very close friend and past president of IRIA, Harsh Mahajan, and Kushaljit, a friend for long. Dear panelists and delegates, I hope all of you and your near and dear ones are doing well. I would like to thank ELETS for inviting us all for today's panel discussion in Radiology and Imaging Summit. It's a pleasure to be amongst so many radiologists, young and old, eager to learn and contribute to the cause of radiology. I would like to appreciate the efforts put in by the entire team at ELETS for bringing us all on one platform to discuss issues of extreme relevance and importance to all of us. Sharing of ideas and challenges has always helped us sail through difficult times like the one we've had for last 7 months. I would like to sincerely express gratitude to all our esteemed panelists for today as well as tomorrow's sessions and the efforts put in by the entire team in making this possible. My own colleague, Dr. Gauri Ahuja, has helped Pratibha in bringing all these people together, and I'm quite proud of that. Going to the website of ELETS Technomedia, I became aware that it is the premier technology and media research organization, and it has presence not only in India, but Asia and the Middle East. Since 2003, the organization has been championing the cause of governments, building knowledge sharing platforms, and highlighting the importance of innovations for governance, health, education, urban development, banking and finance sectors, amongst others, through conferences, publications, and knowledge portals. They are new in radiology and we'll all help them in coming up in a big way. Their virtual conferences, I've attended a few, I've been panelist in a few, are par excellence, and it is commendable that ELETS Technomedia, through their various e-learning and discussion programs, now have more than 50,000 articles and more than 2 lakh followers on social media. We at IRI would be proud to be associated in any academic, non-academic activities that they would like to get us associated with. They have 4 very popular monthly publications: e-government, digital learning, e-health, and the banking and finance post to their credit. The new one we just saw. The past few months have been very, very difficult for all of us, and people across the globe have struggled in their fight with COVID-19 and grappled to survive the disease. Recently, life has been predominated by various phases of lockdown and unlock, and the colors of red, orange, and green, each interchanging with the other over last 7 months. Despite the COVID cloud shadowing our lives, people are braving out of their homes in an effort to bring lives back to normal. Normal or new normal, everyone wants to get on with their lives and routine of pre-COVID era. It's extremely difficult and challenging, and we're all struggling. Coming to radiology, radiology is the fastest growing premier branch of medicine. Toppers in MBBS strive to get into radiology. So the best brains, according to me, come into radiology today from not only India, but all over the world. The advances in radiology in last 2 decades are unparalleled, and with the branching of subject into various subspecialties, we at IRI have 18 of them. It has made it important part of patient care and disease management, as Hers said. Today, without radiology, no branch of medicine can survive or make accurate diagnosis. All fields of medicine are in a way or the other dependent on diagnostic capabilities of radiologists to guide them for further patient management. Not just diagnostics, radiologists have also made a mark in patient management and interventions in the field of interventional radiology. With small holes in the body, we can reach anywhere and treat the disease. And probably this is going to be future. During the past few months, radiologists have become the frontline warriors in the battle against COVID. CT has proven to be extremely useful, as we all know, in the situation where PCR tests were negative or were not available in the initial phases of the disease, and the clinical suspicion was high, and also it was useful in ruling out any other positive patients with worsening respiratory status. Indian radiologists, not only across the country but also across the globe, have done tremendous work in their chosen field. Our national body, IRI, is always working for the welfare of its members, and we have more than 18,000 of them. During these unprecedented times, when on-site educational meets had to be halted, the IRI continued medical teaching through several webinars. As the head of association this year, I am proud that with the help of my colleagues, we have conducted over 80 webinars in past few months covering various subspecialty topics and programs for young budding residents. All the speakers were experts in their chosen field, and they have done a tremendous job. And this is not possible without the team working days and nights. Despite their role, there is severe shortage of radiologists across the world. There is dire need to raise the number of practicing radiologists and educate them. And for this purpose, we urge esteemed organizations such as ELETS for their help and support. Radiology is a tech-friendly branch, and a lot of work is already going on, like Dr. Harsh and his son does, in research and development of artificial intelligence. Teleradiology is an important tool which radiologists use for reporting cases from across the world, while seated in the comfort of their workplace or home. Teleradiology has been immensely helpful in last few months when work from home became the dire need and norm for the hour. These days, no talk on technology can be complete without the mention of artificial intelligence. Advances in the field of AI reduce the pressure and workload on radiologists, improves their productivity, and more importantly, it will help them fine-tune their skills and knowledge. The realization has dawned on us that focus on healthcare is undoubtedly the most important aspect in any society or country. And we need to work towards strengthening this field and making it sustainable at the same time. Before I conclude, I would like to elaborate on 2 or 3 things. Companies like ELETS can improve education in your country. Unlike American Board of Radiology, which conducts MD exams across the globe, across the country uniformly, we have more than 300 universities conducting MD radiology exams. And of course, their base is completely different. We together need to make the base of radiology education flat and same across the country. And we together can do a great job. Radiological tests, as all of us are saying, are important for diagnosis. Many of them are not covered in majority of the health insurance schemes. So we need to work with government to make these tests getting covered in insurance schemes, health insurance schemes. Radiology should be made like healthcare an industry, and we should have support from government and several organizations like Tata's, Birla's, and Reliance to make things in India. Unless we do that, using our powerhouses like IIT, CDAC, we will be importing most of the healthcare needs in terms of technology, pharmacy, etc. And unless we work together in tandem, this is not going to change. Government needs to spend significant amount of GDP on healthcare to prevent what happened during 6 or 7 months. Artificial intelligence should be made part of curriculum of MBBS and MD radiology students. PCPNDT is a major problem for radiologists. What we must understand is it's a social issue and it's not issue related to radiology, the sex determination. And we should work together with government for uniform application of this law and to reduce the incidence of fetal feticide across the country. To conclude, I hope all the attendees attending the sessions across next 2 days have a very fruitful and interactive experience with all of us here. The platform has changed from on-site to digital, but the idea behind such initiatives is always the same: to learn and grow together. Before I conclude, I must thank Gauri and Mitusha, my colleagues in the department, and my wife, Mamta, for tirelessly working behind me to make these ideas fruitful and useful to all of us. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dr. Patkar. I would like to, me and my colleague, Mr. Sharma, who have a couple of questions. If you could please help us, answering those. I would like to begin by
I
asking
would also like to take help of Harsh and Kushaljit in answering this question.
yeah, all the three scientific committee board members, I would like to pose the first question. I would like to ask about the second wave of COVID-19 hitting globally. There's a kind of, talk going on. So I would like to get inputs from you all, like, what actually is, like, this is from kind of a common man question from me and other patients, we are all worried with festival season going on, it's coming up. So as doctors and radiologists, what kind of advice you will want to give for the common people, and what myths should not be taken, and what tip you want to give for the patients? I would like to start with Dr. Harsh Mahajan, please.
I think Harsh would be in a better position to answer this question. Being handling
Can you just in short repeat the question, please?
Dr. Ash, I just wanted to know from patient perspective, the second wave of COVID-19 is actually is in the news everywhere. We just want to know what kind of tip a common man should follow, and what should we should not worry about, and what is this all about the second wave of COVID-19?
See, the second wave is very definitely upon us. There's no doubt about that. In fact, in Delhi, we are even speaking of the third wave because the number of cases in Delhi have gone to unprecedented levels above 6,000 in the last few days. And the underlying precautions remain the same as they were when we started. See, the government is doing its bit. The doctors are doing their bit to treat patients. If they have mild disease, then at home. If they have moderate or serious disease, then in the hospitals. But the onus rests equally on the persons in the community themselves, the citizen of this country. Because we know very clearly now that most of the transmission is through contact, is through direct, being in the presence of someone who's infected. And that's why mask wearing and wearing the mask properly is very, very important. There was a time in March, April, May when we had a shortage of masks in this country. They were not available. Today, we have excess production. In fact, we are now exporting. The government has given permission to export these PPE kits and masks. So wear a proper mask. Even a cloth mask, if it's 2 or 3 or 4 layer, is very useful. The surgical mask, which was selling for 20 rupees at the height of, when the pandemic started, today you're able to get a good surgical mask for 3 to 4 rupees. Even any general citizen is able to get that. The N95, which protects against the viruses, as well as now, especially in North India, with the pollution having reached, you know, really astronomical levels, it protects against pollution as well. These were not even available for 500 rupees when we needed them. Today, you can get a good N95 for 35, 40 rupees. And it can be used multiple times for many days if you care for it properly. So, mask, and do remember the mask not only protects you, but it protects the person who's sitting across from you. In fact, a surgical mask is able to give anywhere over 95% reduction of transmission to the person opposite. That's how important wearing it is. So it is incumbent upon us to see that people around us are also wearing masks, because they are the ones that are going to protect us. And we, by wearing the mask, are going to protect them. So if transmission gets reduced by 95%, and if we are wearing a mask ourselves, our the chance of getting the transmission, getting the infection becomes exceedingly low. Then we have to be not crowded in closed spaces. That's again something everyone knows, but somehow we tend to forget it when we meet friends or family. So crowded indoor spaces, if you have to meet outside in open air, and wear the mask. And then hand hygiene, something again, 20 seconds, soap and water, nothing better than that. Or the sanitization liquid, which is now omnipresent. In fact, someone was saying it has become like charnamat, which we get in the temple. Every time you want, you fold your hands and you want it. So if these conditions are met by every citizen, we can stop the pandemic. There is no doubt. Also, there is a hypothesis that the mask may even be acting as a vaccine, because wearing a mask gives you very little exposure, and that may be creating antibodies. This is still a hypothesis, not proved, but there are many asymptomatic people who've not had the infection, who've been wearing masks, but have antibodies. So that has led to the belief that this may be there. So, first wave, second wave, third wave, whatever the wave may be, the precautions that you have to take remain the same. Kindly follow them. And if you follow them, you will avoid the infection. And most importantly, in offices, in hospitals, in clinics, in gatherings, when you're having your lunch or having tea and you're sitting opposite each other with your mask down, do remember that for every symptomatic patient of COVID 19, there may be 25 to 30 asymptomatic patients. So there are people who don't know that they are infected. And if you're sitting with them with your mask down, eating, conversing, then you're going to get, because even asymptomatic people can transmit the infection. This has now been proved beyond doubt. So be careful. If you're careful, you will avoid it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mahajan. And we are joined by Dr. PK Dash. Dr. Saab has joined us, but I'll before inviting him, there's one more question. There are several questions around COVID-19, and there's one very important question which I can see the audience has started asking questions. It is about impact of COVID-19 on the radiology practitioners. So what have been the economic impact, and any one of you please can answer this.
We're going to have a session on this evening if delegates are not aware. One, two, the impact has been tremendous. From March onwards, typically in month of May and June, the work came down to about 10% of the original work in most of the clinics. People were scared. Majority of our work in outpatient clinics or standalone clinics is elective: epilepsy, headache, backache, etc. Then there is something called as semi-elective work or semi-emergency work, like cancers, follow-ups, screening. So that work completely stopped. People kept coming only for emergency work like fractures, of course, respiratory illness, strokes, etc. People were actually scared to go to any hospitals. So as I talk now, even at our hospital, the work has not even limped back in radiology department to 50%, because people with chronic problems do not want to come. People who come for every year screening or health checkups have completely stopped. Other thing that government did is they capped a lot of things. The cost increased dramatically because we had to give, after working for 15 days, we had to give 7 days off to our staff, people working in COVID area, according to government guidelines. PPE cost was phenomenally high in the beginning. Now it has come down. People were scared to come to work. So getting our workforce to work was a major problem. So that is slowly limping back to normal. So effect has been tremendous. A lot of people thought that we are profiteering by charging high to HRCT of the patient. So government capped those rates. The fact is, it costs about $1,800 to $1,000 for CT chest in Europe and America. We used to charge something like 5,000-6,000, depending on where you were and what kind of machine you had. So that is capped to about 2,000 to 3,000. So effects have been tremendous. Over a period of time, of course, we hope that with help of teleradiology, AI, things will come back to normal. Government should work like they're working in all the other sectors to get the economy back to normal with healthcare industry, with radiology, by reducing the duties. We have 28% duty structure on spare parts, 18% duty structure on import of machines. So unless these machines are made in America, made in India, we need to have low GST on these machines. Cost of servicing is very, very high. All of us must know that we work in a cutting edge technology. So our machines get outdated in a matter of 3 to 4 years. We can stretch to use them for 4 or 5 years or maybe 6 years. So to recover that money, recover the CMC cost, recover electricity cost, electricity is not subsidized for us. So a lot of things need to be done, like government is working in with all the other industries to get back healthcare and particularly radiology back to normal.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Parker, for answering the important question. I would like to welcome Mr. PK Das Sharma, the head of Radiological Safety Division, Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. Thanks a lot, sir, for joining us and accepting to do the special address in the first edition of Radiology and Imaging Summit. Over to you, Mr. Sharma, please.
Dr. Sharma,
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are.
Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting me for this important occasion. And I would like to wish all the best for this program. Actually, I saw this program, the content of the program, it is really need of the time, which includes this artificial intelligence, teleradiology, molecular imaging, and hybrid devices, solution towards the COVID-19, which the pandemic we are facing and we are going through. And because of which we, instead of having a physical meeting, we are just working through web conferencing. Anyway, but we have to address it. Whatever the new challenges are there, we have to face it. Coming to the topic which you have chosen, actually, I was just going through to reach to this particular area. that whatever we are talking about today, artificial intelligence, teleradiology, molecular imaging, X-ray was very much there since 1895. But slowly all these things came in, and if you must appreciate the technology which went behind it, and that is the solid state detector. First, the solid state detector came in. Instead of film, the detector can be utilized, the solid state one, which made that CT possible. Then computer played a very big role in bringing this technology. And the third, as you said about the teleradiology and all, it is the internet services. So with this technology, we went ahead and all these things are possible today. But we have to look into that when we use this X-ray, if you look at, just I would like to compare the photography. When we go to radiography, it is also imaging. So let us go to photography. What happened in the photography? Earlier, we used to have a film roll, which we are inserting into our camera, and it can take around 30 pictures, and we are very judicious in using it. For a single click, we are very judicious. But today, everybody's hand, there is a mobile phone, smartphone, and we click here and there everywhere. So can that be used like this, the digital radiography, when it came into picture? So that is a question. That is a question which I would like to mention about, that because this is not like photography, this is a double-edged sword. When you are using it for beneficial purpose, it can harm others. It can harm the individual also. So we have to be very, very judicious. Though the technology has improved, we should use it in a very judicious manner. That is one of the very important thing which I would like to say. Now, if you look at particularly those who are engaged in industrial radiography, the patient is coming for one session and some dose is delivered to the patient. But proportionately, the workers are getting certain dose which are scattered from the patient. So the people around, they are getting exposed to radiation. And since they are managing large number of patients, so this proportionally they are receiving small doses from each patient that go on accumulating, and that may cause harm to the every individual, which we are concerned about. As you know, the ARB, the mission of ARB is to protect the members of public, worker, and environment from use of ionizing radiation. We know that it is very much essential to use, because we get immense benefit out of using this ionizing radiation. However, we have to use it with a caution. That is what we would like to say, and we should know. As I'll give example of, let us say, electricity. Everybody is using electricity, and we know it is hazardous. But we know how to protect ourselves. We know that if you put an insulator, nothing will happen. So similarly, when we are using radiation, we must know that how to protect ourselves. So you draw the benefit what you are going to get, but try to use it with a caution, use it in a proper manner, so that the people, those who are working around, will be safeguarded. So there are very simple way of dealing with. In any kind of radiography installation, when we want to safeguard the public around, it is just a very inexpensive way of putting a 9-inch brick wall that suffices the purpose. The people around will be quite safe. If you put a brick wall, which normally we put, and if you put instead of a plyboard or some other material, put a brick wall or some thin lead sheet, that itself will protect the people who are around. But The difficult part is the workers. Sometimes they may work behind the barrier, but what about the interventional radiology? What about the surgical, during surgery they use C-arm? The workers cannot go away. They cannot stand behind a barrier. And these are the scenario that they have to use protective gears like the lead apron. It is a very simple thing that lead apron, once you use the lead apron, it cuts up the radiation by more than 90%. And that is how you can safeguard yourself. If you look at, because normally we receive lot of, how will you measure that, okay, you are safe or unsafe? This is a bigger question. Because you can't see radiation. So it is very difficult to understand that whether you are safe or unsafe. So for that, like I will just compare with the mobile network. The place where you are sitting, you don't know in the air what is the kind of network you are getting. Whether the network is good, whether the network is bad, you cannot sense it. So you need a device. If you open your mobile and see that what is the network, you'll find out that, okay, yes, network, the signal strength is good, signal strength is bad. So you need a device. Without a device, you can't measure it. Similarly, in radiation, we have devices. The instantaneous, when we measure, we call it a survey meter. But for protection of the people, that is the reason why we advise everybody. And many a times in the area of radiology, people that do not like to wear it, it is a very small gadget that is called thermoluminescence dosimeter, TLD badge. Once you put the badge, that will go on accumulating the dose which you are receiving, and that will show you that whether at the end of the period when you process it, it tells you how safely you are working. So that gives a assurance that you are working in a safe level and you can avoid the harmful effect of radiation. Even there are pocket dosimetry. If somebody is concerned about that, okay, daily they want to, I don't want to process it afterwards, but I want to instantaneously know what is the dose I am receiving. There are pocket dosimeters available, one can purchase it. And basically I'll say the high risk zone, those who are working, industrial radiography, and people working around any fluoroscopic machine nearby, they must use it, the TLD badge, and if they want, it is recommended that they can use a pocket dosimeter as well, so that instantaneously they can monitor their dose if they are concerned about. So that is how you can take care of yourself. And I would like to say that sometimes these TLDs, when they are being processed, what we do, the laboratory processes, and whenever there is a reading which is higher than acceptable, they intimate to ARB. And that is what we call excessive exposure. But many a times what it is found, in the majority of the cases, first of all, it is from diagnostic radiology. We are getting more than 95% of the cases of such kind of excessive exposures are received from diagnostic radiology area, out of which 85% of the things we found, it is non-genuine. Non-genuine in the sense they leave this TLD badge in the work area. So the badge is irradiated, the badge is receiving radiation, but not the human being, because he is not wearing. He leaves it inside the room. Because of his ignorance or inadvertently he leaves it. So people should judiciously use this badge to at least have an assurance they are working in a safe manner. And if you find that, okay, the badge is left inside inadvertently, you can intimate the laboratory while sending that it was inadvertently left inside, so that no investigation need to be done once it is processed and found to be having a higher dose received by the badge. So we are definitely concerned about the practitioners, those who are working in radiology, and they should always, I'll say, whenever you are using this technology, with this technology, the society is getting immense benefit, make use of it, but being it is a double-edged sword, so try to use it judiciously. That is what I would like to say from ARB side. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Sharma, for telling that. And yes, everybody is concerned about radiologists and the radiation which happens. So thanks a lot to each one of the speakers who had joined in the inaugural session and helped us to initiate the first edition of Radiology and Imaging Summit in a positive note. And we'll be having a lot of deliberations for the next 2 days, and I would like to ask each one of you to be part of it and ask more questions and make our sessions quite interactive. Thanks a lot to Dr. Harsh Mahajan ji and Dr. Sodhi and Dr. P.K. Das Sharma. Thanks a lot for joining in and making this, starting this in a very good note. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, audience, I will request all of you to please join us in the next session, and we will start with the next session by 11. And with that, we close this session, and there is a 3D platform. You can visit there. You can visit the expo halls. You can visit the expo booths. You can visit the networking lounge where you can talk to each other who all are present in this 3D platform. There is an auditorium. You can watch the whole show, and you can also ask the questions. There is a button of asking questions. These questions will be directly delivered to the moderator, and it will be asked to the speakers of the panel discussion. And there is a feedback form button also. You can give your feedback on the 3D platform, and with that you can use the 3D platform as much as possible to interact with each other and with the speakers. And again, at the end, I thank BPL Medical Technologies, Fujifilm, Algevia, Carestream, Icons, Newsoft, and ECFA for supporting this event, and the Scientific Advisory Committee. Thank you so much. So I ask my team to kindly close this session now, and thank you, everybody.
विश्व में हमने युवाओं की आईटी एनर्जी के माध्यम से अपना एक रुतबा खड़ा किया है, और भारत इसके बाद के लिए गर्व कर सकता है। दुनिया में हम आंख में आंख मिला करके बात कर सकते हैं, और ये मेरा साथ मैं हमेशा कहता आया हूँ, आईटी प्लस आईटी इज इक्वल टू आईटी। इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी प्लस इंडियन टैलेंट इज इक्वल टू इंडिया टुमारो।